Hello everyone, and today I will show you guys the best equipment that you can get between level 1 to level 40. So let's dive into that. I gathered here all the best equipments that I found between the levels 1 to 40, and I'll give you kind of a summary of what you can have in these levels, okay? So feel free to pause this video and get some information. This is basically the summary that I will talk in this video, okay guys? So there's not really much space where I can put my camera, so I just removed it. But as you can see here, these are all the equipment that I found that were very powerful in these levels. A disclaimer is that I will not show all the best combination that could have. I'll show you a lot of good combinations. Maybe there will be better than these ones later on. The thing is that I will mainly show you guys how you can build your set. What is the train thought behind that? Which I think is way more important because these sets are always changing, equipments are always changing depending on the meta and stuff like that. So it's more important if you know how to build your equipment than actually having always an equipment, because if something changed, then you don't know what to do. And also if you're playing a very specific build or a very specific class with a specific build, it's very hard to find information about it. So if you know how to do it, it's way better, okay? So but let's start things off with the Piwi here. So the Piwi's set, all of them give the same stats. So if you come here and put combined bonuses, click in all of them, it will show all the potential stats that these can all give plus the bonus of the set. So it basically accumulates all the stats of each part plus the set bonus. So all the Piwis will give exactly the same stats in the end of everything. So the Piwi hat and the Piwi, the blue and yellow Piwi hat, they give different stats, right? But the set bonus in the end, with all the parts, will give exactly the same stats. So check it out, like we have set 60 vitality, 19 strength, 10 wisdom, so on and so on. So let's check here now with the blue Piwi. Exactly the same, 60 vitality, 90 chance, 10 wisdom. So for each element we have one different Piwi. And then you have also two other colors of Piwis. One is focused in wisdom, I think, and the other one is focused in power, not super interesting. I think these ones are way better because it's hard for you to do multi-elemental really that early in the game. Then at level 15 you get this set here, which is the field set. This set here is actually quite nice for a strength set. You already get one movement point, so if you don't need to have one action point, there are so many classes that do not need to have 7 action points. They just have like spells with 3 action points, for example, and so it will not make sense to have one extra action point. And so it's way better for you to have one movement point, okay? So you can use this one, which actually is quite good stats. It's a level 15 set, okay, and it gives you 80 strength, 57 power, so it's basically power and strength will be the same thing, so it's 137 and one movement point and one summon, okay? And you can still, for example, use on top of this, you can still use, for example, this ring here that gives you 20 strength, so you can get more 20 strength on top of that, and then you can even have a weapon. You can just open your encyclopedia, go to the weapons, go to the filters in strength, and then you just search for a weapon. But I'll show you guys this later on, okay? Then we have the farmer here, which is an okay set. It's not super bad, it gives you already one action point as well, 8 vitality, 95 chance. The good thing about this set is that it's super easy, but super easy to build. Like you can drop them if you go to the bestiaries or to the recipes. The recipes are very cheap, really very cheap. I cannot really show you because it will be behind all these things in here, but you can just check for yourself. But it's honestly a super accessible recipe, and you can also drop it in the bestiary with like in some field mobs. It has like 0.5% of dropping, I think, but you just have to do like multiple fights all the time and do something with some challenges, and you'll eventually drop them, okay? Otherwise, you can just craft them as well. They'll be super cheap. So if you can't afford the mob sponge set and you want to go chance, then I'll go for the farmer, okay? But then talking about chance, we have the sponge set, okay? The sponge set, you can only use it at level 25, everything. But you don't need to use the shield, okay? It's not necessary for you to use the shield because you already will receive one action point. But if you use the shield, you'll get more 20 chance and more 45 vitality, because these ones give 25 vitality, and more the bonus that gives 20 vitality. You also get 2 water damage and 2 dodge, okay? So overall, this is actually a really good set because if you go full chance, you have a lot of agility to dodge from enemies. For example, you're doing the Gobbal dungeon and you cannot be near the enemies, so it can be a bit of a struggle. And so if you have this set and you're playing chance, you can just have a lot of agility and dodge to escape from the mob. So it's actually a good, really good set for people that want to go chance and still have a lot of escape or even tackle. If you are in need of one summon, you can just remove the spawn shield and then go to the shields in the encyclopedia, filter the shields by summons, and there will be some shields that gives summon. And you can also do the same thing with the boots. There are some boots at level 30 that are chanced and give you one range, I think. So let me explain to you guys how this works. You open the encyclopedia, you can click on B on the right menu here. It will appear like this symbol here with the book. And then you come here and then you search, for example, these three parts here are the ones that give you agility and no chance. The shield, the boots, and the belt. So what you have to do is that you come here, click on these ones, shield, boots, and belt, and then you come here to the filters, and then you put chance, because that's what you're looking for, right? And then you can see, for example, these are the boots that gives you chance and one range, so you can just switch these boots for these boots at level 30, for example, because you'll get the same, exactly the same chance, because the 8 bonus from 7 items to 8 items, it gives you 20 chance, and you'll get the 20 chance in these boots as well. You'll just lose a bit of vitality, but you'll get one range, which can be quite important for some characters that need the range. But you can also go in here and check all the other things, check for yourself what it can be interesting, and can also be, don't need to put for chance. Imagine if you're looking for summon, right? You just come here to the summons. So I'm clicking here in the filter with the summons and it's not appear anything. It's because it's a beta, it's a bit bugged, okay? But if you search here with the shields, you have some shields that in low level that actually give you summon. For example, this a new one that gives you one summon, and you'll have another ones that also do the same. But you can just also come here and see for yourself. This one, for example, gives you 20 power and one summon at level 35. So when this launches in December, everything will work properly. So for example, if I put here, it will not appear anything. But the idea is that you put the parts that you do not need, and then you check for the stats that you would like to have in your set, for example, action points, movement points, whatever it is, and then try to see for yourself if there is an equipment that fills that gap. And then you have to see when you remove your equipments that if it will be worth to introduce a new item depending on the set bonus, because some equipments do not give you the stat that you want, but because it's part of the set bonus, they will actually give you more stats than putting an equipment that gives the stats that you want, okay? So you need to pay attention to that as well. So now let's continue. Now we have the Gobbal, so let's see, 130 chance and 165 vitality. And then if you come here, you'll do also the same. You'll find the same things here. And it gives 125 strength and 125 intelligence because I'm adding the power as well. So the sponge actually gives more stats in terms of chance and agility, but this one gives more vitality, okay? This one also gives you one summon and some damage. So the Gobbal set, it's a very, very good set to have. It's quite a strong set, but if you want to go more glass cannon, you can opt for this new set here, which is the Bearman. And if you check here, you'll get one action point, one range, one summon, and more intelligence. So you get more to intelligence than the Gobbal one. But the vitality is really way lower, right? But you also get 5 fixed resistances. This means that if you, for example, get a damage that deals 30 damage, you'll reduce it by 5. So it will just do 25 to you. So this is actually super strong in low level because this 5 here doesn't seem much. But if you receive like 5 attacks per turn, you'll already reduce 25 damage in that turn. So in the end, depending on the class, it may be worth to have less vitality, but having this resistance here. And also the good thing is that it gives you one range that the Gobbal one does not give you. And it also has space for other things. For example, in order for the Gobbal set to give all the stats, you need to have all the 8 stats. So it will give 127 intelligence already with these 7 parts. While the Gobbal one, if you just put 7 parts, it will give you 95. It will give you 95 stats here, okay? So with this one, with the Bearman, you can still, for example, put the shield, this one, to get more 10 power and 20 vitality. So at the end of the day, the Bearman actually gives much more stats overall less the vitality obviously, but considering everything, it's quite a good set. I think I will use this one in my steamer. Even though I do not need the range, I like the fact that it's very glass cannon and gives a lot of stats with just these 7 parts. Then if you are again a class that do not need action points, you can also use the Tofu set. The Tofu set for 7 parts will give you 2 movement points. It's actually quite nice. Very, very interesting. So if you're a class that needs 2 movement points to position, for example, maybe a Roblard, I don't know, a Rogue, could be interesting to have this set, even though the parts here do not give as much, 116 agility, which is quite similar to the Bearman, and you still can put a shield and another ring. So honestly, it's a good set, a bit glass cannon as well. They don't have as much vitality, for example, as the Gobbal, and even the Bearman has more vitality and has these flat resistances. So this one is very, very glass cannon, so you need to be careful while playing with it. And if you're playing agility, this is basically a precursor of the Toadie and the Mad Tofu cloak that you will have later on. That will still be doable to use in the level 30s if you want. I will not show it here because that set is already known. But this set will not be the same thing because the Mad Tofu cloak now, it's quite different than it was before. So now the Mad Tofu cloak, it has a restriction of you need to have less than 7 action points. You need to have 6 action points in order to use it. This is basically to limit people to use them in higher levels. I think this is fair. I think the equipment was always super overpowered. So I will still probably build this cape and the Toadie set and all of this stuff until level 40. But after level 40 you have so better options instead of the Mad Tofu cloak and the normal agility sets. You have actually good sets for agility now that will be much stronger than actually this, okay? Obviously the Mad Tofu cloak with the Toadie will always give you more agility. The problem is that you will always be stuck with 6 action points and really low vitality. So now we go for one of the best sets at the moment, which is the Royal Gobbal set. And now we have this shield that gives intelligence because the cape only gives strength. So basically they introduced the shield that only gives intelligence to be more standardized. And the good thing about it is that if you have 7 items, you get 80 vitality and 40 intelligence. And then with all you get more 20 vitality, more 10 stats, and more 1 damage. So this cape here only gives you strength. So if you're playing intelligence, you can opt for a different cape. And there's a really good cape. And so you have 2 options. Either you can go for the press pick here and put the cape and the ring, and this will give you already 10 intelligence and 2 fire damage and 1 reflected damage. So if you combine the both, it'll give you 45 intelligence, way more than having the cape, and way more vitality than having the cape, right? So overall, this, in my opinion, is the best combination that you can have with the Royal Gobbal and these 2 parts of the press pick. And if you want range, there's also an option for you, which is the match cape. This cape here gives you 40 intelligence and 15 power and 1 range. So this is the perfect cape if you want to get more glass cannon, more damage, and even getting 1 more range. You get it only at level 38, but it's the same as the press pick ones. So, and then you can still opt for another ring, for example, 1 ring that can just give you intelligence. You'll have a lot of different options for you. You'll have the Kwak ring. You even have this one that gives you 1 range as well. So at level 43 you can combine the cape with the gloves to have 2+ range in your set, so it's quite a good combo. So overall you get what I mean, right? So you get that it's very hard for me to give you like the exact set that you will play with, right? But I'm giving you the tools so that you can build your perfect set for your perfect class, for your perfect build. But nevertheless, I'm still showing you the more generic set, and then you can switch 1 part or 2 parts from that set to adjust to your playstyle. So now we have the Aqua set, and the Aqua set is back, guys. The Akwadala set, it's so good now at the moment. Look at this bad boy here, and you'll now get so many stats, but so many stats. Look at this: 255 chance, 330 agility, 1 action point, 1 movement point, 2 ranges, and even 10 power. So it's a really good set, and even gives you 30 perspection, which is nice because if you want to drop stuff, it's always good to have chance in your equipment. So you'll get 25 perspection because 10 chance corresponds to 1 perspection, and then you'll get around 55 perspection. So you'll get a lot of more percentage of dropping resources, equipments, whatever. The problem is that this set is a bit hard to do. You need this water pandaush water fact, and this artifacts are a bit hard to drop. You drop them in a level 40 mobs in Automai, but their percentage is quite low. And you need basically 5 of these artifacts for each of these equipments besides the shield. The shield is different. But nevertheless, if you manage to get it, it's a huge and cool set to have. And again, the same concept, you can always switch one part to get a different part. For example, if you remove one part, you'll lose one range. But if you want another action point, you can, for example, use this celestial brush here that I've put it here on the side, because I think these are like they are basically just some items that I've put it here that kinda can go well with these sets. So if you want one more action point, you can just put this brush here instead of this necklace. You'll get a bit less chance, obviously. So if you remove this one, you'll lose 40 chance, you lose 50 vitality minus 20 vitality from the necklace, and you also lose 3 critical and 1 range, and so on and so on. But for some people it might be worth it to have the 8 action points and doing just a tiny bit less damage. And you can also use this set and put another ring, because you still have space for one ring. And you also have one ring that gives you chance and range. So you can use this Royal Gobbal glove that gives you one range and some chance. So in the other space of the ring that you'll have. So in case you need one more range, you'll have 3 range with this set, which is quite good. The only thing now that the sets now are very limited. For example, you have here the Trechneed helmet that you cannot have more than 8 action points while using it. So it restricts a lot, obviously. You just get really restricted. But nevertheless, it's how the game it is at the moment, and they want basically that people will progress with their action points and movement points across the game. So instead of you having like 11 action points and just like 200 chance, they want you to get more stats, like 400 chance, and having less action points. I don't know how I feel about this, because some classes really need the action points, like Zelor, Rogues, Heliotropes. So I think this type of sets will kind of give more power to the easy classes like Kra. But let's see, these can also change. Okay, this is still the beta. They are still checking the feedback of the people. So only really when it launches in 3rd of December that we'll really know what will happen to these sets. But again, I'm explaining you how you can build your set mainly, then showing what is the best thing at the moment. So then we have the Kwak sets, and these sets here are very interesting. I think these sets will be used a lot in PvP, because these sets give you up to 42% earth resistance and actually good stats overall. Actually they are very good stats. So it's kind of crazy how such a level 40 equipment can give you so much resistance. So the difference between this set and the other elements like the fire Kwak, the water Kwak, and the air Kwak is that some of them will give a little bit resistance, for example 39, but will have a bit more vitality or have a little bit more damage. So they all kind of give the same thing, which is a lot of resistance in the specific element. So this could be interesting in PvP, because if you kind of more or less have a clue on what your opponent will play, so you can know the class of your opponent, and if you know that these classes are very good with this element in this specific level, you can kind of predict which element they will go, and then you can put the elemental Kwak that will be more resistant to them. Then we have the Trechneed set, and this Trechneed set is quite interesting because it gives you 1 action point and 1 movement point plus 1 action point with the helmet, so you'll have 8 action points and 4 movement points with this set. It's a good set overall, like it gives you actually really good stats. It's not crazy stats, but it gives you 2 action points, which is nice, 1 range and 1 summon, and gives you 20 damage, 20 flat earth damage. It's a lot actually, it's actually a lot, but it gives you minus 20% resistance to fire and air, while giving you 20% resistance to earth. Overall, I like this set. I think it will be quite interesting to use it, but I still think the Albuera for earth element will still be better. Like, I will not show here the Albuera because they are level 50, so I'll show them in the next video. But for level 40, this one is actually very strong, but there is one very good competitor for this bad boy here, which is the Crackler. And the Crackler here, look at these stats, man. Look at these stats. So you can get 230 strength. It's a lot, guys. It's really a lot. 230 strength, and you even get 20 power, and you get 25% earth resistance, 5% fire, and 5% air. And look at these flat resistances. You'll get more than 10 flat resistances to all goddamn elements. Guys, how crazy is this? I do not understand what Ankama was thinking about this, like, because it'll be so tanky. This will be so good, for example, for Sacriers, for Forgeless. I think Forgeless will be so good with this set, honestly, because Forgeless Earth is, in my opinion, is still the best element for early level. And so it will allow the Forgeless to have so much, but so much resistance, or even an IO, for example. So I'm very interested to see how this will work, how this will be in play. Another really cool thing that you can do is that you can remove some parts of the set that you don't find it so necessary. For example, the helmet here that gives you just 20 strength, the belt here, and the blades. And then you can add 4 parts of the Trechneed helmet. So you can actually combine these 2 equipments. They might give you more damage, but in exchange of a bit less resistances probably. I did not try in concrete if they will actually be better or not. But as you can see here, if you have 4 parts of the Trechneed helmet, you get 1 movement point. So you can actually get 8 action points while using 4 parts of the Crackler, because if you use the helmet of the Trechneed helmet and then use like some parts, like you use the ring that you're not using in the helmet, you use the boots. And if you need 1 range, you can even opt for the necklace here, or if you need a summon, you can opt for the cape, and then the rest of the set. So I'm using here the helmet, the necklace, the ring, and the boots. And then you can come here, and then you can choose, for example, the cape, the shield, and the sword, and then the boots, okay? So you can play with these a lot, so you can kind of mix the 2 sets more or less. Unfortunately, I cannot put the 2 sets here side by side. It will actually be quite interesting if that was possible, honestly. Ankama, you should do that. So you can actually have 8 action points and 1 more movement point and 1 range if you mix the 2 sets, okay? Just take in mind that the Crackler helmet is more, if you use all the parts, you'll get more resistant. Then to finish with the 40s, I have here some sets that are just some sets that do not have all the parts, like 7 parts. They have like just 4 parts. And the Grunob here, it's very interesting because it gives you a lot of multiple stats. So it gives you 95 power, which is 95 to all elements. It gives you 1 action point and 1 movement point and 1 range. So these boots here gives you already 1 movement point. This is super good because it's not super common to see boots already at this level that gives 1 movement point. If you come here, for example, and if you search boots here and then put the movement points, you'll see quickly that there are not many boots that can give you 1 movement point, okay, and being in a set. So you have this one here, but it's a set of 2 parts and gives you agility. But this actually could be quite interesting, for example, with the Tofu cloak, since you can use actually this set here and the belt. So you can use these 2 parts and get good agility, good movement point, and having then the Tofu cloak and the toady and the weapon of the toady. But continuing here with the Grunob, this is actually a good set because it gives you really good power if you use everything. It's just 4 parts. And if you don't want, you can just use, for example, the boots here to get 1 movement point, or the helmet here to get 1 range. So this set overall has some good parts that are quite interesting. But the good thing about this set is that you have a lot of pushback damage. So for pushback builds, it's quite interesting, maybe for PvP. So you can always use this boot individually in diverse sets. And if you add it to another part, you'll always get some bonus, right? You'll always get 20 power. Then we have this set here, which is the Stroy them all. And this set here is quite nice because with 3 parts, you already get 1 movement point and 1 range. So it's quite interesting because it gives you a lot of intelligence and more 20 power. So it's like 115 intelligence in total for just 3 parts. And you get 1 movement point and 1 range. The same thing here, you can just use, for example, the necklace here if you need 1 range, and you can remove from your big set to introduce just a necklace to get 1 more range, or you can use multiple parts just to get more movement points. So the problem it's in that in these levels, level 40, you'll not have 3 parts that will give you 1 action point, but you'll have 3 parts that will give you 1 movement point, and 4 parts that can give you 1 action point. The same thing here with the Kalkaneus. The set here gives you a bit of strength, so it gives you 85 strength, some vitality, and 1 movement point, 1 range, and 1 summon. So this is also a good thing to combo with another set. The same thing here with the Monarch. So the Monarch here gives you 1 movement point when you have all the 3 parts. It's also an intelligence set. And then you have this set here, which I find it super powerful for multi-elemental as well, which is this one here. It gives you 1 action point, 1 range, 70 power, and 40 agility, chance, and intelligence. So you'll have 130 stats in intelligence, chance, and agility. It does not give you much vitality, but it's just 4 pieces, and gives you already 1 action point, 1 range, and 1 summon and 6 fixed damage to all elements. Honestly, I really like this set for 3 elemental builds. I think it could be very interesting, for example, for an upper mage already to start exploring 3 elements. So chance and agility and intelligence are honestly quite a good combo for upper mage, and for sure for other classes as well. So I'm quite interested to see what people will build with this type of sets. Let me know in the comments what did you guys think. Like I said again, it's very important for you to just come here and always explore your options. It's way more important that than just searching for equipments or sets that are already done for your class, because it will always be different for what you're looking for, because now you have so many different options of different equipments that is very important for you to know how to build your own equipment. Something that I never see anywhere is that how can you build your equipment? People always give you the sets that are good for that specific moment, but then after some months it will not be already as good. So like I always say, it's more important for me to teach you how to fish than immediately giving you the fish. So I hope you guys have enjoyed. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. If you have like a secret build that I did not say here, a specific combination of different equipments that I did not say here. So for the next video, I'll explain the equipments from 40 to 60, and I will give you more specific combinations that you can use, because from level 40 you'll start getting a lot of different equipments that you can get 1 action point with just a few parts, and so there will be more interesting to see and combine different sets, okay? I hope you guys have enjoyed. Please subscribe if you like my content. We are almost hitting 1000 subscribers. I will do also a live today, so see you next time.